Hi, I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land, the Turrbal and Yagara people here in Brisbane, and the Ganai Konai in Gippsland. And we pay our respects to elders, past, present, and future. My name is Ivett Guerra, and I am a member of the Women on Boards Diversity Committee. I am a Latin American-born Australian woman who's very passionate about diversity and who wants to tell stories about the struggles and successes of people from diverse backgrounds and how they achieved their first role on boards. I believe that the true success of an organization in the future is to achieve true diversity in the leadership teams. A Spotlight on Cultural Diversity is a series featuring culturally diverse women and allies supporting culturally diverse people on boards. Can I introduce you today to our lovely friend, Josh Chikuse, who will tell us about his journey. Thank you for joining us today.
Nice to be here, mate. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. And our first question, can you tell us a little bit about your cultural heritage, your career journey, and the boards that you serve on at the moment?
Thanks. Yeah, so I was born in Zimbabwe, and that's my heritage, and that's where I grew up and did my education. In terms of career, I've done a few things. I've always been interested in strategy and policy work since our school, and I've been privileged to work in that space. So my career is mostly around strategy and policy development. But when you work in strategy policy, you start getting into other things, and digital transformation is one area that I've been involved in organizations helping with digital transformation. But also, governance became a passion over time, and my journey to understand what that is and how to help and contribute to organizations thrive. So in terms of my board at the moment, so I'm currently sitting on two boards. One is a healthcare group, does fantastic work for our community which I live in. It's a hospital that does different things like aged care facilities and also palliative care. And also, I guess I'm also on an education board for a community college in my area as well, which is in an area close to my heart around educating communities as well. So those are the kind of two boards I'm sitting on.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. And can you tell us about how you got your first board role?
Thanks. I think everyone's journey is different, and certainly mine, it has been a journey on its own. So I think, from when I first thought about getting on boards, I thought about a board, and I realized that, I didn't have the tools, to become a board member. So I enrolled myself in a board ready program, so it gave me some tools and things to think about. And I remember the cohort that I was sitting on that board ready program. Some of them within completion of that program, they jumped onto boards, and it took me 5 years myself.
Wow.
To actually get an opportunity to join a board. And again, for me, it was understanding that my unique value proposition, had to work on it over time, because I was coming from a different cultural background and try to find ways to be inclusive myself around what the things I'm passionate about. But again, within that 5 years before I got my first board role, I also, educated myself around corporate governance. So by the time I got my first board role, I think I had the right tools to help that journey around the board. And I was fortunate enough, I guess, to join my local community board, a neighborhood house at the moment that was also working on community development programs for migrant people. So I guess my strategy skills and policy, digital transformation became useful to help the organization at that point in time.
Sounds great. Well done on doing that.
Yeah, and I think it has been a journey now since then, but it is, it does, you need to recognize that not everyone's path is different. And, some people say it does take 20 years, sometimes mine was 5 years. So, just, realizing that sometimes it's a point of discovery yourself, but also understanding what you can contribute to. Some people, easily know what they want to do. Some people, it does take time. So it's good to think about that as well.
And you mentioned some of your board roles. Do you think, obviously, your cultural heritage impacted your board career positively?
Definitely. I think, when I look at what does heritage provide, it gives you different lived experiences. It gives you different perspective on an issue based on your lived experiences. But also, I guess you also get to live and have different tools in how to approach different things. So your experiences, the tools you have from your heritage, your perspective, and your lived experiences are the diverse perspectives that every board organization is looking for. So I definitely think my heritage does give me the foundations to provide that different perspective, which is very important for any organization or board. But again, I think it also gives you an opportunity to work on and understand other diverse views as well, which is more important is you can become a board member that, you're not bringing one perspective, you're bringing your own perspective, but you also have to be learning, to learn other things as well. So it's been, my big culture has been about learning, so it's helped me to continue to learn. And again, I talk about that when people ask me about what have you done, I bring up all the education qualifications I've done, and they're like, oh, geez, you spent your time learning. I'm like, yes, it's really important to learn. So people do it in different ways, and it is, and that's the heritage and upbringing that I've got that I bring as well.
Well done. And what advice would you give to aspiring board members from a non-Anglo-Celtic background? Yeah,
so I think, again, everyone's journey is going to be different. And again, if you look at the statistics around diversity and inclusion at the moment, they can be disheartening, to say, geez, what are the opportunities out there? The statistics tell me a different story. But then if you look at the statistics around the contributions of diversity, then you can see that every organization and board that has got more diverse perspectives becomes even more valuable. So you should take to heart that diversity that you bring is very valuable, and that's what you should look at. But also, again, like I talked about, it's important to continue to learn because, again, our environment organization is changing at the moment. So for someone who's been around for 10 years, you are current now. So what you bring to the table is more current. So it's important to continue to learn. But also, again, it's also important to build a team around yourself, because again, it's a board is different to how organization or a professional your career works. It's about team and dynamics and stuff. So you kind of need to learn how to do that, to have a team around you that gives you different perspective and work with them. Because yes, it is important. But at the end of the day, again, it's more important to understand your unique value proposition about what you're passionate about and what things you are want to do, because not everyone can be on a board on a VP note, but not everyone can be on the board of NXX company, but all organizations provide value to our communities, which is the most important thing. So know your passion and what you bring. Again, continue to learn. Every skill and experience can be learned. So you might not be, finance expert today, but tomorrow you can be. It's just the time you put in to have those skills.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your insightful answers. It's been a pleasure hearing your story, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you, Josh.
No, thank you for having me today, mate.